Hey everybody, Dr. Shook here. Hope you're all doing well today. Today, what I want to do is just take a few minutes to give you guys some updates on a few things and to share something that I've observed during this time when I've been in quarantine. And this is something that you guys can do that is an incredibly powerful way to improve and enhance your health. And so during this time, my time in quarantine, my kids are attending, they're attending school online. And so everyone can wake up a little bit later. And so the interesting thing has been I've observed and tried to set my routine to try and observe what my natural rhythm for sleep, my natural sleep cycle is. And this is something that's really important. And this is variable amongst different age groups, and people genetically have variations that will predispose them to either delayed sleep onset or early awakening, where they'll wake early. So people will have different depending on their age and depending on their genetics. They'll have different amounts or requirements for sleep, and this is one of the most important things that you can try to learn about yourself. So what I've been doing is going to bed at my normal time, but then just observing and seeing how much time does my body really need? When do I wake up naturally? And one of the things when you wake up, you have to observe how you feel. You need to determine, do I feel good? Do I feel energetic, or am I dragging? If you're dragging, then something is not right. Okay, you should technically without an alarm clock, and you should have energy. You should have good, what I like to call it is neurological drive. So when you wake up, you're awake and you're alert, right? You feel pretty good. And that's something that unfortunately a lot of people, I will say this, most people do not experience that. And I've said, as we've gone through this COVID-19, this quarantine, and just talking to people live, talking to people in my practice about this, I've said this and I've repeated this, that this is an opportunity where you can try to improve your health as much as possible. There's a lot of stress. There are a lot of things that we can't control, and people are in a lot of different situations. So it's not something that everyone can do necessarily, but I want to try to focus on the things that you can control. So one of the things that's most important for human health, period. If whether someone has autoimmunity or thyroid problems, or they're trying to optimize their health and they're already in good physical condition, is to optimize sleep. It's one of the most important, if not the most important thing that you can do. So what we want to do is you want to go to bed at the same time each night. This is important to set rhythms. It's important to go to bed at the same time and really eat at about the same time every single day. But if you go to bed at the same time, that should be a habit, a practice of yours. Observe when you wake up naturally, and start trying to see when that is. What I use is a smartphone app called Sleep Cycle. And with Sleep Cycle, it has a few different alarm settings. So one alarm setting is that it will wake me up within about a 30-minute window of when I need to wake up, right? So if I need to, or if I have to get up, or if I think I'm really going to oversleep, I know that about myself. I'm not going to sleep until 8 o'clock. I mean, the latest I might sleep would be like 7, maybe just a little bit after 7. And that's kind of unusual, but usually I'll wake up around 6:30 or so, something like that, just naturally without an alarm clock. That should be your goal. Try to figure out and learn what your natural sleep tendency is. When do you go to sleep? When do you wake up? Like when you go to sleep, you need to set a pattern for that, really. You need to try under a period of time where, if you're in quarantine, or if you've been in quarantine, if you've observed this about yourself, make note of it, because you should have a time when you go to sleep each night that's pretty regular. You should have a routine before bed. Let's say about an hour before bed, all electronics should be shut off. If they're not, you need to be wearing blue blocker glasses to filter out the blue light, because it signals to your body that the sun is still up. That your body's not going to make melatonin, and it's not going to shift physiology when you're exposing it to blue light. So blue light, either blue blocker glasses, which are tinted glasses that filter the blue light, or all your electronics, you need to have some type of electronic filter that takes the blue light out or minimizes it significantly. So then you go to bed and then just see when you start waking up. Now you can use an alarm clock so you don't oversleep if you have a tendency to do that, but you'll learn a lot about yourself. One of the things that I've learned, so I've been keeping track, and I use a biometrics tracking device. I wear a Garmin watch, and it tells me, it averages my sleep, my average amount of sleep, and I've been sleeping 9 hours and 19 minutes is my average, which is considerably more than what I thought that I needed. But that's going to vary. Your demand for you might change if you change physical activities. If you're doing something different, those stressors are going to change your body's needed amount of time needed for recovery. But on average, you can see with your normal routine, let's say you start exercising, and you're in the routine that you want, that you're actually, striving for to reach optimal health and better health. Observe what your sleep demands are there, and try to honor and give yourself that time to recover. Because if you don't, listen, you either pay that debt now, or you're going to pay it later. And you're going to pay it later with poor health. I promise you that. We know a lot about sleep, and this is something that really needs to be observed. So that's the first thing that I wanted to share with everyone. Try to, at this point in time, like right now is a good time for a lot of people to try to better understand their sleep cycles. If this is not a good time, if it's not possible for you to do this and to experiment with it during this period of time, then what you want to do is, at a time where maybe you're on vacation or something, whenever we get back to doing that, you might want to try to take that time when there's lower stress, less demands on when you wake up, to try to understand your sleep cycles, your natural cycles. I would highly, highly recommend that you do that. That's something that if I work with someone one-on-one, that's something they're going to need to do. That's something that I've observed more and more as time has passed, that how critical it is, and how neglected it is in American society because of our obsession with productivity. And what we're actually ending up doing in a lot of cases is sacrificing health and vibrance and maybe even productivity by overworking, because you're less efficient. You're depending on what you're doing, you're not going to be as good at it. So, okay, that's the first thing I want to talk about today. The other thing that I want to talk about is, so our Fit Body 50 program, which is something that I've talked about since maybe last year, it should be ready, I hope, tomorrow. There's just a few final tweaks. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to do. We're actually going to offer a fitness challenge. This can be done at home. We have 9 different workouts that are available that you'll be able to choose from. Everything from walking routines they're divided into beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and everything from walking routines to body weight exercises. So you don't have to have anything any type of equipment. There are resistance band programs. If you have resistance bands, if you have weights available, then you could follow one of our weight training programs. But this is going to be available, should be available starting tomorrow. I'll let everyone know. I just want to make sure that everything is tested and working properly before we make this available. We are going to have, and I'll talk more about this in a few days, or hopefully tomorrow, a challenge where we're going to do a spring fitness challenge. And if you enroll in any of our programs, any of the Fit Body 50 programs, you're automatically entered. And the application that we have, I'll give you more details on it, but we're going to have prizes and several different things. So really excited to do that with you guys, because I think it's something that will really change and can make a huge difference with your health when you start exercising and moving the right way and using science-based methods to help you continuously progress and get better. So that's something I'm really excited about. The third thing that I want to talk about today is antibody testing, is coronavirus antibody testing. So I mentioned this in a group post to the Greater Hickory Thyroid Support Group, to the office of Dr. Brad Shook. I posted it there. Inside the transformation community, I posted there was a post about, there's a company in San Diego that has developed a test. It's a rapid antibody test, and it looks at IgM antibodies and IgG antibodies. Now, if you don't know what any of that means, first of all, it's a finger prick test, and it's looking for an immune response to the virus. These are antibodies, and this is a very similar type of test that has been developed and that has been used. What I'm going to do is I'm waiting. Tomorrow I should have some more information from the company, but they've already provided me with a lot of information. I put that on a website. I'm going to share that with you. I'll post it in the comments. You can go and check it out. see here. So there are two. I'm posting two links right now in the comments. Okay, looks like it went to the comments are on the Office of Dr. Brad Shook on Facebook. If you go there, you'll see this video, and you'll be able to click on a link that will take you where you can, if you want to be notified early whenever we get more information on the antibody tests. I mean, here's the deal. There were some questions about the testing. The testing is developed by a laboratory, and they've submitted to the FDA for approval or for the emergency use. It's EUA. It's emergency use. Other companies like Abbott, there's a few other companies that have developed tests using the same technology. They've also submitted to the FDA for these tests to be available. What I'm going to do, because I'm going to be going back to my office, seeing people in my office. I see people virtually all the time. That's what we do through the week, is virtual telemedicine. But I do see some people in the office. So when we go back to the office, anyone that comes into our office, what we're doing is I'm going to be testing people. We're going to test, I'm going to test, my staff's going to test. We're going to test people before they come into our clinic. It's about a 10-minute period of time. And then we're going to be using masks and shields and gloves and whatnot until I personally have significantly more data on everything that's happening with this coronavirus. I am going to take as many precautions as I have to take, as I feel that I need to take. Some people don't feel like they need to take any precautions, and that's your right to do that. But I'm protecting. I want to be able to see, my kids and my parents and elderly people that I care about. So I'm trying to minimize my risk of exposure as much as possible. So I'm going to wear, PPE, personal protective equipment, a shield, everything when I'm in my office, gloves, extremely stringent guidelines and controls until we have more data. And that's how I'm going to go about it. But I'm going to be doing testing. And so I'm going to be doing it with all of my clients and patients that come in. I'm going to be using this test. People have asked me questions about accuracy and other things, and the company's provided me some information on that. So you can go to the website, which is I posted a link. It's not the easiest to verbalize to you, or it's hashimotosdoctor.com/1919 testing. Okay. But it's hashimotosdoctor.com. That's going to be the tricky thing for most people, is Hashimoto's. But anyway, you can go to drbradshook.com. You can actually go to the Office of Dr. Brad Shook on Facebook, check there. Like I said in the comments, I'll try to get it to you if you message us. But we are going to be offering this testing to our clients. Anyone that comes into my office is going to be tested before they come in. We're checking temperatures. We're doing the whole 9 yards, because we want to protect people, and we want to protect ourselves. We want to protect our families. And I think it's a really important thing to do this testing. Now, is this testing? People ask me questions about accuracy. The company's provided that information. It's on this website. That's the first thing. The second thing is these tests, these rapid tests, they're antibody tests. So they're looking for antibodies against the virus. So if these test positive, it has to be confirmed with another type of test, like a PCR test, a polymerase chain reaction test that looks at viral load. It needs to be verified via a different type of test. If it's negative, it's not 100% that you're negative. Okay, but this shows IgM antibodies, which are produced initially, acutely, and then it shows IgG antibodies, which are produced and are persistent for several months afterwards. And we don't exactly know how long they persist with this virus, because we haven't had enough time to observe that yet. So this is, in my opinion, looking at antibody tests, this is a great test to use. Finger prick test, a few drops of blood. You use a diffusing solution that you drop on to the test, and it helps the blood to migrate into the test itself, and then you get a red line if there's positive for the IgM antibodies and or the IgG antibodies, and then there's a control line that always lights up for the test to be valid. So the first thing is, I want you to know, like, it's a rapid antibody screening test, and if you want to know, as soon as we have more information, I requested as much information as they can give me. They gave me a lot of information on the test. Apparently, they can send me some documents, some other documents and PDFs that I can attach or just have, because I want to make sure, first and foremost, that any testing that we're doing is that I know exactly what it is as much as possible. And I want you guys, if it's something that you're considering doing, I want you to have a lot of information as well, as much information as possible about what you're doing and what type of test it is and what you would need to do. And they provided a ton of information. You can, again, see on this website where you go, just scroll down, and I've posted the information that they provided about positives and negatives and just a lot of detail about the test itself. But that's what we're going to be doing. We're making that test available to our clients, our patients. If there's, if you guys that follow us and that are here, if you would like to get those, we're going to, I will, depending on how many of these tests we can get. I'm making a lot of assumptions. I don't even know that I can get how many tests I can get yet. And that's going to be if I can only get 25 or 50 tests, I'm going to be using those in my clinic. I'm not going to be able to provide those to people virtually necessarily. So, because I have to test people that come in, and there are immediate people that there are people in my family and other folks that I have to test. So as much as I can, I'm going to make this testing available to people. They're going to be $64 per test, for what I know, unless I have a large demand and people want to buy more, and maybe they can give us a break on increased quantity purchasing, whatnot. But either way, I want to share that with everyone because I know that a lot of people are very interested in being tested. I'm very interested in being tested. I was really sick. I missed an entire week in the office in February, like the beginning of February, an entire week, which is so rare. Everyone in my family was sick. It was very unusual. And I'm just wondering, was I exposed to the virus at that time? So many people have stories similar to that. They were sick in late December, January, February, whatnot, and they're just curious. So I'm curious, and I think this is a good test to, I can do it at my home. I can just prick my finger, do the test, and see, at least have a rapid screen, and get an idea, at least get an idea of what's going on. I think this is going to be really important for us moving forward to limit the spread of this virus, and just do our best to limit the spread, right? I've seen so many people, because it's been in the news, like, well, how accurate are the tests? Well, this company says, I believe the IgM was like 92% and the IgG was somewhere like 98%. And I think apparently that's a good accuracy rate for the test. But anyway, I will have more information. I've posted a lot on this website, so you can check it out if you're interested. If there are any questions, I'll see if I can't answer them, but I do have to run. I just wanted to share a few things with you guys about sleep and then the importance and how you can use this time to try to better understand the amount of sleep you need. The Fit Body 50 program should be coming out tomorrow. And then the antibody testing is something that I'm trying to get together. We're definitely going to be using it in our clinic. And if any of you are interested, you can go to the website, which I've posted a link to it, and you can just put in your email to be on an email list. When I get more information, I'll share that with you. And then if we do see that we're able to provide these to people, we will mail them to you. I need to find out like how many I can purchase, because there are some really high need places where these types of tests are in demand, and technically, like, first responders and these people need to have access to this stuff first. So I just, I'm going to see what we can do. But if we can get some tests and I can share them with you, then I'll be happy to do so. So let's see. Hi, Joanne. Very good to see you too. Hi, Pam. Is walking through the night. Sometimes don't feel well. Ache all over. Pam says, hello, I do try to go to bed at the same time each day and wake up at the same time. Waking up through the night. Sometimes I don't feel well and I ache all over. What could be the reason for that? I usually feel okay when I wake up. Waking up and aching. there's so many potential problems, issues that could be occurring there. It's really hard to say, Pam, exactly what could be going on. People waking up through the night, tons of reasons for that. Really, a lot of different reasons, from blood sugar to hormonal issues, to some of the most common. I mean, if you're waking up from pain, then are there orthopedic issues? Are there inflammatory autoimmune arthritic issues? Like, what's happening there? If you're hurting all over, is there a high inflammatory load that's sensitizing your nerves so that they have a lower threshold of firing? So there's a lot of different things that could be possible. I wish I could answer that more thoroughly, but there's just so many possibilities. So let's see. Okay. So Bonnie says, should we take the antibody tests? I mean, I think so, based on what I've seen. I mean, the antibody tests are what's available, I believe, as far as the rapid tests go. I think this test that I'm looking at is about a 10-minute test. So the test, once you prick your finger, you put the blood in, and you apply the diffusing fluid that helps it to move into the into the test unit itself. You have to read it within about 10 minutes. So it's pretty quick and rapid. I think it's a good way to look to see if there are antibodies there. And it would be it's a screening test, right? I mean, any test that's positive needs to be followed up. I mean, it does. It needs to be followed up with a different methodology, like a different type of test. So Bonnie says, should we take the antibody test if we haven't been sick or had any symptoms? Well, I mean, if you're an asymptomatic carrier, I mean, an antibody test may show you if you have produced antibodies. And I think it would be, in an ideal situation, we would just check everybody, and we would screen everybody to the greatest extent possible. But it's something that all I know is that for us to best get control of this, especially if we're not, if we're all going to be out and we're not quarantining as much, there's going to be a good opportunity for a second wave to occur. And, it's ultimately, there are a lot of people that are susceptible to this, and we need to do the best that we can to protect them as well. So I think that testing, and very aggressive testing, could be a great way to help us better limit the transmission. And someone had mentioned the other day on the Facebook post, they mentioned that they thought that the testing was free through their insurance and their doctor. And if you can do that, go for it. Like, I mean, that's great. I think that's a great thing to do. I do, even me, I mean, I'm like, do I really want to go to a lab or to my doctor's office and go in and be tested? How are they testing? What type of test are they doing? I don't really want to do that. I would rather do a finger prick test and screen myself that way, and try to get a better idea of what's going on. I would prefer that. But if you don't have any of those issues and you want to go to your doctor's office or to a lab, and then I think that's an option that's available, and it might be 100% covered by your insurance. I think that's what someone was saying, that it was 100% covered. So that's great. I think that would be a good thing to do. Look at your options and see and decide what you want to do. But anyway, I'm going to hop off here. I need to go put the kids to bed and take a shower. But I hope you're all doing well. I will be back on tomorrow to share a little bit more information with you all. And if I receive the rest of, I'm expecting some kind of documentation, other documents from /19, so 19, and then testing. But I posted a link on YouTube and at the office of Dr. Brad Shook if you go to our Facebook page. So anyway, I appreciate you guys. I hope you all have been doing well. Hope you've been enduring this. Hang in there. Everything's going to be fine. Just, we just need to do the best that we can to focus on the things that we can control. Try to stay positive. We're going to come together. It's going to be, it's all going to work out. It's going to be fine. We're going to do the right things, and we're going to get back to, living a life that is fulfilling, and we're not just all, quarantining and limited in our movements and in our ability to go and do things that we want to. But I do appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.